So now I'm going to talk about grouping and ungrouping letters and designs. So we're going to do a set of initials. Go back into our, let's pick a nice scroll. So I'm going to do L, enter. So I'm going to make each initial separate. Add one more. So I now have 3 motifs. They're on top of each other, but that's fine. Let's move the M out here. So typically when you do a monogram, you always have your first name is the first initial. Your last name is always in the middle and it's a larger font. And then your middle name is at the end. So what I want to do is I want to make the D larger. So let's increase our size. Let's go to 110. Let's go to 115. Excellent. We can always make those, go to 95. 95. And you'll notice there, I just tapped on the icon. I didn't have to go back in, tap, come back out. Bernina provides many different ways of accomplishing the task. So now I have my initials. I have the last name is a larger font. What we want to do, is we want to group these motifs. Back into my eyes. And it's this one where we're going to group these together. So I have the M, the D, and the L. I have now grouped them all together. I'm going to undo here. You see exactly what I did. So my layer 3 has the M, layer 2 has the D, layer 1 has the L. I come into here, I hit that, and it's literally, let's try this. L, group, next one to be grouped, that one. So I now have grouped these all together, which means if I want to move them, it moves them all together. If I wanted, I could add a motif to it. So every time I want to stitch out LDM, I could have a motif with that. If you want to ungroup them, so say, oh, I used the wrong initial or whatever, you would have to ungroup them. Keep going. And now I only have the L left. Now I can do any editing on that motif if I want. So let's go ahead and add a motif to this. Let's go up a level. I'll pick the hummingbird because I love hummingbirds. So I've moved it down to the bottom. Maybe I want it up top. So I have my initials. Let's say I want to add in the hummingbird. And now I have everything in one level. So it doesn't matter, whatever I do, that design has now been grouped together. And I can just store it on the machine and it will stitch. So let's talk about the stitching order and rearranging it. Let's go into our eye. And this is my stitching order. As everything's in one layer, I obviously have no stitching order because it's all together. So in order to do this, I'm going to go back and I'm going to ungroup everything. There I am ungrouped. Let's go into the stitching order. let's go to layer 1. And you'll actually see it cycling around. So here's L, that's layer 1. I can move that. Layer 2. So now the D will stitch first, then the L. Or I can move it to layer 3 or layer 4. I could take my hummingbird, move it down so that my hummingbird stitches first. So if you're actually adding motifs, adding fonts, adding writing, you may need to change the order in order to get your best results.